Jaylen Brown's playmaking. It hasn't been there all the time, but when it is there, it's promising. And it's clearly something he's putting emphasis on. It's something the coaching staff is working on with him. They're empowering him to run the offense at times, including when Tatum was out. I thought the end of the third quarter against who the heck did they play? I'm losing. I need
Atlanta.
Against Atlanta.
There you go.
The lead is cut to 6. Tatum gets subbed out, and they ask Jaylen to run the offense, and he makes smart play after smart play to push the lead back up to make that game comfortable. And they not ran away with the win, but they were never in real danger after that. And I just feel like as long as he's willing to get off the ball quickly, and as long as he's continues to try to make the right play, then that's going to pay dividends. It doesn't matter that sometimes he'll throw the ball away. Sometimes he'll drive into traffic. He had one play against Atlanta where he drove into the paint and just jumped and just did something stupid. And that'll happen sometimes. But you can tell that he's not judging himself by his scoring anymore from the stuff that he said, from the way he's playing. And that's huge. That's a good step for him. And maybe it seems like we're grading him on a curve, but I think he deserves to get graded on a curve here. He's not a great playmaker. He has not been the best decision maker. And for him to show signs of that, and Kristaps Porzingis being next to him seems to help Jaylen along with that. But I just think, over the long run and in the playoffs, Jaylen being able to diagnose a defense and make the right play is just maybe the most important thing for this team. He and Tatum just have to be better deep in the playoffs. They need to be great deep in the playoffs. Jaylen wasn't great against Miami at all. The year before that, Tatum wasn't great at all against Golden State, and that's why they lost. And so at the end of the day, you need your two best players to be great. And Jaylen learning how to read defenses and doing a better job of that is one of the most important things for this team all season.
Yeah, the buy-in from Jaylen on that front is huge. And the fact that this is an 82 grind to kind of whiff a couple of key new teammates that expect to have the ball in their hands a lot too, and Drew Holiday and Porzingis. So the fact that he's buying into that part of it, and he should. I mean, it's obviously a big sacrifice for him, because it's not going to be, you're not going to post probably the All-NBA numbers or even the All-Star numbers necessarily this year in that type of role, from a points perspective and, a shot attempts perspective. But I feel like that's the last thing that defenses around the league will have to throw at this at the Celtics, when playoff comes around, hey, can we get Jaylen and Jason to make those mistakes? You've heard of Jay in the last couple of postseasons, those key spots. And if they get better at that awareness, finding those outlets, judging when to attack, when to pull back, when to make the pass before you get into too deep into the paint and getting too much trouble there, that is something that is going to be the difference between probably a conference finals run and maybe a banner. So that the fact he's working on that so much this early in the year, I think bodes well in terms of where he could be on that front in April and May.
FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
When Tatum's on the bench, who do you think should be running the offense? What do you think is the ideal kind of system for the Celtics? Say Tatum's on the bench. Last night or against the Hawks, we saw they kind of went to Jaylen Brown, and he made a number of good plays, which the great Jay King broke down for the video last night on the Patreon. Everyone should go subscribe. But what do you think the best option is? Because we've seen some moments of just okay, Derek White's kind of take over this game, just kind of going to his right and playing in the pick and roll. We've seen Drew Holiday do some things. I don't know if I necessarily want the ball in Drew Holiday's hands consistently, just as a decision maker. But I think if this team is to reach its highest potential, highest ceiling, if Jaylen can be a kind of a go-to guy in those moments as a playmaker, just because he is such a dynamic scorer and just his ability to hit tough 2-point shots, they're not necessarily the most efficient, but I think in the playoffs, you kind of need guys who can go and create their own shot like that. And just because he is that dangerous, I feel like if he can also add that playmaking part to his game, that solves a lot of their issues of just like what the offense looks like when Tatum goes to the bench. So I'm curious from, I guess, Jay, your perspective, Jason Tatum heads to the bench. Who do you think should have the ball in their hands at that point?
I would like to see Derek White with the ball in his hands a lot. I would like to see Porzingis with the ball in his hands a lot. But you know what? Long term, and Drew Holiday probably needs more usage. Like his usage rate has just plummeted from when he was in Milwaukee. I don't think it'll be an issue. He's not the type of guy to make it an issue, but there's a stark difference between the way he's being used now and the way he was on the Bucks. Long term, though, whatever struggles you have right now with Jaylen having the ball in his hands, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off because that's what you need for him to develop in the end. At the end of the day, like, can he run your offense when Tatum is sitting? Can he make the right decisions when a team double teams him or sends a ton of help, is super aggressive against him, trying to pick his dribble and all that, like the Miami Heat do to muck it up? Can he handle all of that? And at the end of the day, he needs to be able to handle all of that. So I'm all for Jaylen getting reps and all for the way the coaching staff has empowered him and run the offense through him in those times. I think, it's right for him to want to add that to his game. And if he does, and if he gets good enough at it, then that's the type of development that could really matter. So at the end of the day, you can run more through Derek White. You can run more through Porzingis. You can run more through Drew Holiday. But I think you know what you have there. Whereas for Jaylen, some of this is new, and he just needs work at it.
Yeah, if you're going trust rankings on that front, Jim, I'd go like Tatum, White, Drew, and pretty big Ack and Jaylen. So I think the key to the season now is for Jaylen to kind of close that gap a little bit. And he won't be, obviously, he's never going to be, a true, point guard like Drew, but like at least be someone that you can like have run bench offense for 6 minutes and, and just go through the right process. Like, you're not going to be perfect, obviously, but improve your reads, know what's coming, know who to look for. And then that would just make defending this team just that much tougher, because if Tatum, when they're all in together and Tatum's off the ball, like, you're not gonna get a help defender coming off of Tatum. Like, you're not gonna get a help defender coming off as much as Porzingis if he's hot. So then things get a lot easier for Jaylen and company to attack. And
I think it's really promising that he believes he's playing some of the best basketball of his life right now. Because that
you think it's his delusions are promising?
No, I'm just, it shows the buy-in. It shows that he's not worried about his points per game dipping considerably from last season when he was second team All-NBA. When you're that good, when you reach that level, you could easily look at it and think, why do I need to change? What do I need to change after I was literally second team All-NBA? They voted me one of the 10 best players in the NBA last year. And instead, he's looking at it like, what else can I do to help the team? And what else can I add to my game that helps us get buckets, not necessarily me? So to me, the way that he's viewing it is really important and shows that he's put faith in the coaching staff and all their teachings, that it's not going to be about points this year for each individual player. Sometimes it's like, can you get off the ball and throw a pass to Derek White on the other side so that he can then find Kristaps Porzingis cutting to the basket or whatever it is. Like, just make the play that helps the next play and helps the offense. And the fact that he's bought into that is big. It is.